As organizations have learned the business value of contact center modernization, they've begun to prioritize the development of comprehensive contact center solutions. This short video is a quick tour and demonstration of an accelerator that aims to provide a proven approach to building a modern contact center solution. Think of it as part construction kit and part roadmap for building modern contact center solutions that minimize the time to value and maximize the solution's capability. In a traditional contact center, customers call directly into the call center and either connect to a human agent or are connected to IVR, which routes the call to a human agent using traditional voice prompts like press 1 for sales, press 2 for service. In a modern contact center, instead of initially connecting to human agents, customers are connected to a digital assistant that handles the call. In this accelerator, connecting customers to a digital assistant is accomplished by AudioCodes Voice AI Connect Cloud, which receives the customer's call and acts as an invisible broker between the customer and the digital assistant. When the customer speaks, that speech is translated to text and then sent to the digital assistant. The reverse of that happens with the digital assistant's response, where text is translated into synthesized speech and then spoken back to the customer using a neural voice. An effective digital assistant can fully handle a large number of targeted conversations, but at any point, if a human agent is needed, the digital assistant can tell the Voice AI Connect Cloud to transfer the call to a contact center, where it then routes to a human agent. Here's what the accelerator's implementation looks like. In the middle of the diagram, we see the Voice AI Connect Cloud receiving calls and using Microsoft Speech Services to connect customers to the digital assistant that is shown to the right. In order to create an enterprise realistic accelerator, its implementation has been pre-wired to mock services that act as placeholders that can be replaced with the actual enterprise services during implementation. The customer service mock in this diagram is a good example of one of these placeholders. On the left side of the diagram, you get a sense of the wide variety of telephony systems that integrate with AudioCodes Voice AI Connect Cloud in the event the call needs to be transferred to a contact center. This highlights one of the key strengths of this accelerator and the AudioCodes solution. Modernizing a contact center does not require a company to abandon the contact center investments they've made. Instead, those investments can be extended and modernized using this approach with minimal disruption to business processes and the contact center operations. Okay, now that we have a sense of how everything fits together, let's begin the tour. Since the experience starts with a phone call, we'll begin the tour in the AudioCodes Voice AI Connect Cloud portal. Provisioning an assistant's phone number, like the one you see here, is a matter of a few simple clicks. Configuring what telephony features to enable for an assistant is a simple exercise of creating a bot definition like the one you see here. I'll open this bot definition so you can get a quick sense of how telephony configuration is managed and the features that can be enabled. Connecting an AudioCodes phone number to a digital assistant is a simple association which creates a route like this one that shows which bot definitions connect to which phone numbers. Now that you understand how telephony works, let's shift our attention to the accelerator itself. This accelerator is an open source solution in a public GitHub repo under the MIT license, and if you haven't already, you can browse to it at the URL you see here. Everything you need to build a modern contact center solution like the one I've been describing is included in this repository. There are simple to follow getting started instructions, an automated deployment script, and a contact center baseline solution template that make getting up and running quick and easy. We've even created a video walkthrough for those who prefer a screencast over written step-by-step instructions. I mentioned that this accelerator is part construction kit and part roadmap, and that's because it has task and scenario-oriented implementations that act as raw materials and a blueprint for building a modern contact center solution so developers aren't starting from scratch. It also demonstrates several advanced implementation techniques that address challenges common to modern contact center solutions. For example, extending Power Virtual Agents using Composer topics and Power Automate flows are important skills that implementers can gain by studying how these things are done in this accelerator. Once you've cloned the repo, your project folder will look like this. Here's the mock customer service and audio logo used in the accelerator, and if I drill into the deployment folder here, this one PowerShell script deploys and configures the entire accelerator, which greatly simplifies setup. And perhaps most important of all, this is the Power Virtual Agent Contact Center Solution template that contains the pre-wired contact center baseline. The Getting Started instructions explain exactly how to import this solution template into your environment and how to set it up so it's ready to go out of the box. So now, let me show you all that in action. So I'm in the Power Virtual Agent portal here, and once you follow the Getting Started instructions for importing the Accelerator baseline, you'll see these topics. The Accelerator contains two types of building blocks, a telephony library and a set of how-to implementation snippets. If I filter on VAIC here, you can see the various telephony building blocks. These are composer topic extensions that abstract the technical details of calling telephony services so they can be easily called from a PVA assistant without requiring AudioCodes expertise. So there's telephony building blocks for agent escalation through call transfer, making outbound calls, playing audio, recording calls, allowing barge in, and DTMF, just to name a few. If I change the filter to How-To, you can see the task-oriented implementation snippets, many of which call the telephony library building blocks I just mentioned. For example, if we take a look at the How to Transfer Call here, you can see it calling the telephony building block that tells AudioCodes to transfer the conversation to a human agent. And as you can see, to transfer a call in your PVA assistant, the only thing you need to do is to pass in the phone number of where to transfer the call, and the building block takes care of the rest. Let me drill into this transfer call building block to give you a sense of how this library simplifies things. As I mentioned, these are composer topics, and if I open this transfer call building block here, we'll switch to the composer canvas, and you can see that it fashions an event message using the passed-in phone number and sends it to AudioCodes to trigger the call transfer. The telephony building blocks hide all that technical detail so the PVA developer can just call the building block. I'll switch back to the PVA portal now. These how-tos also make it easy to test and demonstrate these how-to implementation snippets. For example, if you drop the how-to prefix part of the naming convention and just say the postfix part, it'll trigger that topic. So for this snippet, you'd simply say transfer call, and this topic would be triggered. Let's try that now. As I showed earlier, I've already provisioned a phone number in the Voice AI Connect Cloud portal, and I connected it to my assistant, so I'll call that number now.
Hi, I'm your Contoso virtual agent. I can help with orders, purchases, troubleshoot products, and more. How can I help you today?
Transfer call.
Transferring call to 17514388787.
Okay, so that worked. I configured things to call my cell phone, and that's why you heard my call waiting ringtone there. And I could have answered it, but I'd been talking to myself. By the way, did you notice the audio logo chimes at the beginning of the call? That's an example of how to integrate audio branding. While we're at it here, let's demo a few more of these how-tos real quick. Tweet greeting.
Hi, I'm your Contoso assistant. How can I help you today?
That how-to showed how speech markup can be used to control how the synthesized speech is spoken, and in this case, sped up. Change voice.
Changing voice now.
Now I should be speaking with an Australian voice.
Disconnect call.
Goodbye.
The other how-tos, like call recording, outbound calls, and controlling barge-in, will be demoed the very same way. So that was a quick look at the building blocks. We also have scenario-oriented implementations that I'll show you now. These are longer form examples of conversations that are common in contact centers. And if I filter on scenario here, you can see the initial scenarios that are included in the accelerator. More scenarios are planned in the future, and we'll add them later as the accelerator matures. If we take a quick look at the order status scenario, you can see how it's been pre-wired to a mock service through a Power Automate flow. Scenarios are more about the pattern and the technique for implementing a realistic solution, and less about the actual conversational flow in the sample implementation. For example, with the order status here, it's more about the pattern of gathering the required input and the technique of using a Power Automate flow to call a RESTful service. These are things that are likely to be required in a real-world contact center implementation. This approach allows developers to quickly adapt these scenarios to the particulars of their solution without having to spend time on figuring out the best way to implement something. While we're here, let's just drill into that Power Automate flow and show that real quick. I'll click on View Flow Details here, and now we're in the Power Automate portal. So let me click Edit here so we can see the flow. And if I expand the HTTP action, you can see the actual REST call to the mock customer service. Speaking of patterns, I switched back to the PVA portal so we can look at the coffee maker trouble scenario. It speaks to the pattern of troubleshooting customer issues. So the coffee maker scenario is really just a means to an end for showing how to guide customer conversation when troubleshooting and how to escalate to an agent when all known remedies have been exhausted. So it first asks what type of coffee maker they have. Then it asks if it's got water. And if it does, then it asks if it has coffee. And if it does, having run out of things to try, it lets the customer know it's out of ideas and offers to escalate to an agent. Now, demoing these scenarios is a bit anticlimactic given that their value is in their implementation and not in some extraordinary user experience that they offer, but I'll do it to reinforce the value of having an accelerator that comes with pre-wired mock services that just work out of the box. Okay, let's try order status first.
Hi, I'm your Contoso virtual agent. I can help with orders, purchases, troubleshoot products, and more. How can I help you today?
I'd like to check on an order that hasn't been delivered.
I can help with that. What is your order number?
1234.
You ordered one pair of ladies' classic gloves on March 6, 2022, and delivery is currently delayed. The new delivery date is March 21st, 2022. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Wonderful. What else can I help you with?
Okay, let me end that call there. Now let's try the troubleshooting scenario. As you saw in the dialog flow, there's a lot of ways this conversation can be guided, but for demo purposes, I'm going to say yes to everything the assistant wants me to check, so I force it to escalate to a human agent. Okay, here goes.
Hi, I'm your Contoso virtual agent. I can help with orders, purchases, troubleshoot product, and more. How can I help you today?
I'm having trouble with my new coffee maker.
I can help you with that. What type of coffee maker do you have? French press, single serve, or cold brew?
French press.
Is there water in the coffee maker?
Yes.
Is there coffee in the coffee maker?
Yes.
We've now checked all the common problems, so you'll need to speak with a Contoso technician. Would you like to speak with a technician now?
Yes.
Transferring you to speak with an agent. Hold, please.
You can't see my phone, but just like last time, you can hear the call waiting tone on my phone indicating I have an incoming call since I'm configured as the agent in this configuration. Alright, so that was a quick tour of the accelerator. So what's next for the accelerator, you ask? Well, over time, we'll add additional building blocks and scenarios to the accelerator. And here are a few of the ones that we're currently considering. So that's it. I hope I've created enough interest that you'll follow the Getting Started instructions and try the accelerator out and let us know what you think in the discussion board of the repo. Feedback and feature requests are welcome.